Now, as we discussed in the beginning, one of the main aim of the Act is to give speedy trial. So, for that purpose, the Act recommends establishment of a special court. So, every state has to declare a sessions court to be designated as a special court, and the court would exclusively deal with child sexual abuse cases. And this court must keep in mind the best interest of the child at all stages during the proceedings. Therefore, to protect the best interest of the child, there are several procedural safeguards were prescribed by this Act. The foremost important safeguard is that all the proceedings before this court shall be in camera proceedings. What we mean by in camera proceedings is that only the parties and their representative lawyers are alone allowed to witness the proceedings. The general public are not allowed to witness this. And the procedure that to be followed during the trial, the accused cannot directly question the child, the victim. Any question to the child victim of sexual abuse should be asked through the judge. So, that actually reduces the hostile questioning of the child. At no point of time the child would face the accused during the trial. That means, at the time of examination, chief examination and cross examination, the child would not face the accused, he or she will not see the accused. Therefore, to prevent that face to face, the Act provides the use of one-way mirrors, video conferencing and other facilities where the accused can see the child, but the child will not see the accused. It is a very, very important protection for the child, because the child would further go experience the trauma when he sees the accused who is a perpetrator of sexual offense against the child. And also because of the tenderness of the age of the children, during the examination and the trial proceedings in the court, a frequent breaks are allowed to the child. And also the Act says avoid the repeated testifying before the court, and aggressive questions as well as character assassination of the child is not allowed, though they are allowed in proceedings in the adult cases, but not under the POCSO Act. And the entire atmosphere in the special court should be child friendly. And also it is allowed to have a family member, like or a guardian or a friend or a relative, whom the child has a trust and confidence to remain present in the court to give a moral support to the child. And at no point of time the identity of the child is disclosed except with the permission granted by the special court, and that too, that permission should be in writing. The another issue is, though the POCSO talks about offences against the child, suppose if an offence was committed by a child, that means a sexual abuse was caused by a child against another child, then the child shall be dealt under the provisions of Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of the Children's Act 2000. It is not covered under POCSO Act. So, if any question arises whether a person is a child or not, the said question shall be determined by the special court after satisfying itself about the age. So, that means whether a person is a child, that means below the age of 18 years or not, it is the special court which will decide it, and it will record the reasons for the same and then sends the child to the Juvenile Justice Board for further proceedings. In addition to that, there were several special authorities were created for the protection of the children from the sexual abuse. For example, the Child Welfare Committee. There are special public prosecutors established under the Act. There is a District Child Protection Unit. There is a National Commission for Protection of Child Rights at the central level. And in each state, there is a State Commission for Protection of Child Rights are also established. And the purpose of this commission is to protect the interest of the child. And particularly the Child Welfare Committee plays a very important role in rehabilitation of the children victims of child sexual abuse. So, on the whole, if you look at the POCSO Act is different from the regular acts. The POCSO Act clearly identifies the best interest of the child as a principle. Therefore, the entire process, whenever any doubt regarding any provision, such a provision need to be looked at the best interest of the child, how it should be, the same thing should be accepted by the court. And a special court was established for this purpose, and the judges were need to be trained to be sympathetic towards the children. And also one we have to understand that the children are different. Why they are different? They are more vulnerable than the other vulnerable groups. Generally, a famous saying is that the children are more vulnerable because most of the time they are not the prime focus of the government. Because we have a general feeling that the children are taken care by the parents. Therefore, we don't look into children as citizens who require a special protection. That's one problem. The another issue is the children not only exploited in different places, they are subjected to control in every aspect of their life. They are controlled at the home, they are controlled at the school, they are controlled everywhere. Therefore, the authorities who control the children have a greater chance of abusing these children. Hence, there is a special protection is required. That is the reason why this act was passed. And the POCSO Act is a wonderful act, protects the rights of the children in a true spirit. But however, to implement this act effectively, what we need is the implementing mechanism properly trained in dealing with these cases. The most important aspect is the sensitization of the judges, lawyers, police and other stakeholders in dealing with these offences. And particularly looking at the children who are very, very young, testifying before the court is a big challenge. Therefore, it is necessary that the children need to be supported. And for example, in state of Goa, the government has taken a very good initiation of victim assistant unit. So with the help of a trained person, the victim assistant unit runs and take care of any issue of child sexual abuse. So it is a one-stop center. The moment any complaint is received by any police, the immediate information will be given to the victim assistant unit, and they would help the children in recording the statement, medical aid, all necessary preliminary aid would be given to the child. So in addition to that, the child should be supported while making the statements in the court. And one should not forget the constitutional mandate under Article 15 Clause 3. The 15 Clause 3 says special provisions could be made in favor of the children, because the Constitution really recognizes that the children need special protection. And particularly with the child sexual abuses cases, we knew that how it hampered the future growth of the child. Hence, it's not only punishing the accused that is important, though the act sufficiently deals with the punishment, stringent punishments were imposed, but the most important aspect is how do you make the child rehabilitated, bring into mainstream after these offenses was committed? That's a challenge. Therefore, a concerted effort from all the stakeholders is necessary. So, this being a very sensitive issue, you may have a lot of questions that are in your mind. So, we had given a write-up, please read it carefully. If you have any kind of doubts, you could refer to the Act or you could write to us, we would be happy to help you. Thank you.